Welcome to Monster Hunter Now Season 3 called The Bird Wyvern by TeaCommonShark. Now this is going to be continuing for the second season. I'll probably do a remake event one day. And with that, let's see what's going to happen on the third season. Monster getting reckless and breaking out like a demon. Getting close a little bit. Aw, he's just playing. Found him up, man. Oh. Nope. I don't like it bastard. Warning, the following program featuring flashing by death and loud noise. The good destruction of the body. Yep. All fan-made. Let's see what's going on.
Section 3. Bird Wyverns. Bird wyverns are one of the most frequently interacted with groups of monsters in our world, found in a vast variety of shapes and sizes. As of now, there are a total of 30 different species of bird wyverns known by the Guild. All species under this class share the same general body plan, identified by their bipedal stance, relatively lightweight bodies, long necks, and relatively large head. But they are all with one group possessing highly developed wings for flight, whilst the other, larger group, have highly developed forearms for grasping. Almost all members of the bird wyvern family are highly intelligent creatures, with varying levels of complex social behaviors and preferences. And some of you may even have a bird wyvern within your very home. Whilst many species of bird wyverns are skittish in nature, others can be extremely dangerous. And unfortunately for us, the majority of these species are known to consider us as potential prey. This is why it is important for you to know and understand these creatures, with many species in more recent times having become far more aggressive as they continue to move west. And the majority of such species are becoming too comfortable living alongside towns and cities. Our first species is the N.O.W. N.O.W. can be identified by their white and red scales, slim proportions, large umbrella-shaped crest, long beak, and the unique eye-like crest. Standing at about 10 meters long and 5 meters tall, N.O.W. are a more solitary bird wyvern, initially preferring to keep to themselves and ignore people. With a wide diet of plants, neopterons, fish, and similarly small creatures. However, they have been observed to become more aggressive to all living things when other large monsters are in their territory. And with their loss of habitat, N.O.W. are more likely to attack due to their increased stress and competition for resources. Which has of course led to the endangerment of people that they come across as they lose more territory to humanity. N.O.W. have a large umbrella-shaped crest on their heads that can open and close like a fan. The large head crest is used both for display and for intimidation when they feel threatened. If the intimidation fails, N.O.W. will almost immediately resort to aggressively attacking the discerned threat. These attacks will typically be done by persistent strikes with their wings and legs. N.O.W. will also make use of their tough beaks for both foraging and attacking, with the beak being useful for piercing fish and breaking through neopteron nests. This beak can of course be extremely dangerous when used on people. When hunting, N.O.W. will fold its crest and wings to cover itself, and hop on one foot. This hunting stance coincidentally makes them appear like a large umbrella, and is often the stance that they are seen in by locals. The wings of an N.O.W. are sturdy and tough, and can be used for defense against smaller predators. When unfolded or swung, the feathered scales on their wings can serve as sharp blades, capable of cutting through the hide of similarly sized monsters, and breaking the bones of smaller bird wyverns. N.O.W. are among the few species of bird wyverns that are capable of expelling fire from their mouths. The flammable liquid they use comes from a plant known as fire herbs. And by consuming these plants, the fire herbs become a liquid that N.O.W. will then store inside of a designated flame sac within their torso. The fireballs that N.O.W. expel are known to linger on the ground for a short period of time, and can even bounce to varying heights in unique patterns, creating a large cone-shaped barrier between the N.O.W. and the threat. The distinct signs of a N.O.W. include the following: deep holes in terrain and trees, single-footed tracks, lined burnt patches, and eaten insects. To avoid accidents, please listen to the following directions in case you encounter an N.O.W.
General precautions to take. Travel in groups of at least 4 when in areas known to have N.O.W. populations. Avoid lingering in wide open spaces, as doing so leaves you open to attacks from above. Keep pets secure and close at all times. Carry fire retardant devices on hand, or ensure that you have an equally effective means to put out a fire. It is important to remember that N.O.W. can attack unprovoked, and thus should be avoided regardless of the situation. If you encounter a N.O.W., remain at least 9 meters away from the N.O.W. at all times, back away slowly in serpentine shuffles with a wide stance, and seek shelter immediately, particularly within tight, sturdy structures. Watch for body language and cues, as N.O.W. have multiple signs of attacking. These behaviors can include suddenly becoming uninterested in you, hopping on one foot towards you, turning away whilst raising their wings, and lowering their head. Watch the position of the crest, as N.O.W. will expand this crest when using their flame sac, and will often telegraph an attack.
Next, we will cover the Kulu-Yaku.
Kulaku!
Kulu-Yaku are distinguished by their beige scales, vivid feathers, large hands, and their distinctive beak. Standing about 3 meters tall, Kulu-Yaku frequently prove to be troublesome with their high intelligence, and are commonly referred to as pests by those who live within areas that contain Kulu populations. Their frequent interactions with people often lead them to steal valuables and other objects from anyone they come across. Though they are thankfully not known for directly attacking people, and are solitary creatures, their intelligence has proven to be useful for many individuals who exploit nearby communities, especially farmers. As specialized ovivores, their diet consists of eggs. Thus, it is normal to have plenty of reports of egg-related heists being committed by these troublemakers. The arms of a Kulu-Yaku are incredibly well developed, with padded fingers that primarily serve as a means to quickly grab and hold large eggs during raids, where they will then find a secure location to break open the egg using a combination of hard rocks as well as their heavy beak to get the nutritious yolk. This beak is also uniquely sensitive, with numerous nerves that can detect small changes in the terrain and environment, as well as locating other monsters in the area, which helps when foraging for eggs.
Shit!
This
Gotta go!
sensitivity within the beak is of course why Kulu-Yaku were one of the first species of monsters to begin moving, very similar to their fellow environment-sensitive bird wyverns like Yayan Kutku. When not feeding, they will often pick up anything they find interesting. Their pectoral muscles are incredibly strong for wyverns of their size, and grant them the ability to carry large objects that can weigh as much as 300 kilograms. Kulu-Yaku can be quite
Look at them!
dangerous with the objects they
This
pick
my
up.
buckle.
These objects are dependent on the area they live in, as Kulu are picky creatures. And many different populations have been recorded to prefer picking up boulders, garbage containers,
What the fuck?
barrels, vases, jars, large fruit, and in one instance, other animals.
Whoa.
A common technique Kulu uses is to take a large object to use as defense, blocking attacks with the item in hand. They may also use the collected item to throw at targets from a
bitch.
distance. A Kulu-Yaku can be greatly emboldened when they are in possession of an object. This bloating of their ego can make a Kulu far more daring, often resulting in more conflict with.
Damn! Fuck off, Kulaku, you bastard! Oh, yeah, I told you about that thing. Damn!
Said conflicts can range from actively exploring new territories and populated areas, to even fighting against larger monsters,
Damn!
including known apex predators.
Kulaku be
The
full of
distinct signs
yams!
of a Kulu-Yaku include the following: displaced objects, orange feathers, claw marks in dirt or on trees, and egg shells.
Egg.
To avoid accidents, please listen to the following directions in case you encounter a Kulu-Yaku.
General precautions to take.
These guys get
If you live
cocky!
within known
And they have
Kulu-Yaku
something.
territory,
They
it is
gonna
important
use
to
the
avoid getting a
pacifier.
Kulu's sparkling curiosity. It is important to remember that Kulu-Yaku are intelligent and cautious creatures, and in some instances can be obnoxiously interested in you. Avoid carrying any shiny or round objects exposed. Hide any such items if you can in pockets or backpacks. If you cannot hide any items that may be seen as valuable to a Kulu, it is important to traverse the area cautiously, and avoid wide open spaces as much as possible. Keep pets secure and close at all times, and secure all garbage and food. Never feed a Kulu-Yaku, as doing so can result in a permanent shift in their territory, or association of people with food. If you encounter a Kulu-Yaku, Simply back away in the direction you came, and seek shelter as soon as possible. It is important to keep a distance of at least 12 meters between you and the Kulu Yaku at all times. Watch out for loose objects, as Kulus are intelligent tool users, and will often use such objects as weapons.
Damn.
If a Kulu is carrying an object, it is important to back away in wide zigzag shuffles, as well as to prepare to dodge out of the way from any thrown objects. You can also offer an item that has gotten the Kulu's attention as a last resort. Do so by slowly placing the item onto the floor in front of you, before slowly backing away.
The next bird wyvern we will cover is the puke puke.
Pookie Pookie.
Puke puke are relatively large bird wyverns, with a length of 11 meters. They are easily identified by their large bulbous eyes, green and blue scales and feathers, as well as their frog-like face, and colorful tails. Puke puke are among the few species of bird wyvern known to be poisonous, and are greatly known for their ability to release a poisonous mist against foes, which they create with a specialized poison sac. This poison can be further strengthened by their diet, which typically includes an assortment of nuts, mushrooms, and berries.
Oh.
They expel this poison in the form of a liquid and a gas from both their mouth, as well as their tails. This method of attack is very similar to other poisonous bird wyverns like gypsyros and ragi.
Oh. Ooh, no found footage. Is it gonna be a Pookie Pookie? Oh, he's being hunted.
Such attacks cause rapid inflation of their tails as they fill it with their poisonous gas before expelling it onto their targets. With puke puke being extremely territorial, they are commonly known to show aggression to smaller animals on sight when given the chance, which can make them extremely dangerous when they sight people or pets within their territory, or when we see them in ours, as they can frequently attack even without being provoked, making them rather unpredictable. And yet, puke puke are also very intelligent, being able to recognize and distinguish the faces of both people and animals, whether they be friends or enemies, which they may treat with higher aggression. However, despite their generally over-aggressive nature, they will quickly flee the moment any larger monster that can outmatch them appears, making use of its large wings to fly away when forced to be out of their comfort zone. When not running away, puke puke will either use their deadly poison and strong legs to attack, but their greatest weapon is actually their large tongue, one of the most defining characteristics of a puke. This tongue is a puke's most useful tool, being capable of reaching up to a length of 4 meters, and is strong enough to grip and hold said objects if needed, aiding them in foraging for food, but it can of course aid in attacking smaller.
Oh, hi Pookie Pookie. Hey buddy. Hey, let's put that tongue down. Tongue down. Stop it out!
Assortment of feathers. Puke puke dawn. These feathers not only serve as effective camouflage within their native forests, but can also reflect a puke puke's mood. Thanks to the small crystalline particles within their feathers, they can change color when the feathers are shuffled, which can change their natural calm green to a harsh red when enraged or excited, as well as a pale yellowish brown when tired or scared. It is important to remember these shifts in color if you ever encounter a puke puke. The distinct signs of a puke puke include the following: large four-toed footprints, crushed ground foliage, purple residue, saliva, and green or blue feathers. To avoid accidents, please listen to the following directions in case you encounter a puke puke.
General precautions to take. If you live in an area known to be puke puke territory, it is recommended to avoid large dense trees, as although puke are primarily terrestrial, they may occasionally be found within these trees when feeding or parasitizing wingdrake nests. It is also recommended to travel in groups of a minimum of 4 to discourage an attack. Keep pets secure and close at all times. Never feed a puke, as doing so can result in a permanent shift in their territory and association of people with food. Motion-activated lights or loudspeakers are temporary deterrents for puke encounters, with loudspeakers specifically being effective deterrents when mimicking larger monster calls. If you encounter a puke puke, remain at least 6 meters away at all times from the puke puke whilst backing away at a consistent walking speed, and seek shelter as soon as possible, preferably within tight, sturdy structures. Protect your eyes, nose, and mouth during the encounter, as to reduce the chance of a fatal attack from any poisonous mist or spit. Remember that sudden bright lights are effective stalls against them, and are especially useful if used when a puke is in flight.
Before we move on from the puke, a recent series of events has authorized the modification of this presentation. We must also discuss their subspecies, the coral puke, identified by their vibrant pink scales and yellow feathers, as well as their distinctive ability to utilize water instead of poison. Although they are a more isolated subspecies, with their natural habitat being the coral highlands, much like the majority of monsters in recent years, coral puke have begun to migrate into certain areas outside of their native habitat. Despite what many may believe, the subspecies' use of water instead of poison does not make them any less dangerous. Unlike normal puke, which distribute their poison via mist and balls, the water expelled from their mouth and tail is fired at intense pressurized beams. The water they use is primarily stored in their flood sac, but can also be stored in their tails when needed,
Imagine getting
and can
hit
be
by
sprayed
something
with a
like
force
that.
as high as 200 psi from both the mouth and tail.
Damn.
The tongue of a coral puke is also capable of extending slightly farther than a normal puke, with a slightly longer reach of 4.5 meters. The distinct signs of a coral puke include the following: watered areas, destroyed terrain, water puddles, and pink or yellow feathers. To
Yeah.
avoid accidents, please listen to the following directions in case you encounter a coral puke.
Cool puke.
General precautions to take. If your area has recently reported coral puke sightings, it is recommended to seek shelter and stay indoors. However, if you must travel outside, it is important to do so in groups of a minimum of 4 to discourage an attack. Keep pets secure and close at all times. Avoid areas with large bodies of water or other easily accessible water sources. Motion-activated lights and
So,
or loud
almost the
audio
same thing as
speakers are
Puke
temporary
using
deterrents for coral
devices
puke
to
encounters.
detect it.
Instructions previously mentioned for normal puke apply for coral puke as well. If you encounter a coral puke, seek shelter as soon as possible, preferably within tight, sturdy structures. Use any strong or heavy objects to shield yourself from any high-pressure water fired towards you. Remember that sudden bright lights are effective stalls against them, and are especially useful if used when a coral puke is in flight. Do not attempt to feed, pet, or ride a coral puke or even a normal puke, as you put yourself and others at risk of serious injury. And although they can be great companions, they are high-maintenance pets that can be very dangerous to anyone other than their owner.
The next species we will cover is the zizi-yaku.
Oh, Titsy Yaku!
Identified by the dark indigo scales, large head fans, and lanky proportions. Zizi-yaku are a mischievous yet elusive species, originally native to the coral highlands. They have made themselves at home in many other areas since they began to migrate west.
Yeah,
And with the new
this
way of
developed
life
as
for
the
this
Kulaku.
species, they are a more problematic monster. With a height of 3.5
Maybe that was
meters and a
similar to
length
the
of 9
Indoraptor
meters,
without
they can be
the
surprisingly
scales on their
dangerous if
head.
provoked. The most defining feature of a zizi-yaku are the pair of head ornaments. At first glance these may not appear to be of much use, however, when needed, these organs will unfold to display large frills. The frills are capable of creating a blinding flash of light when provoked. Although the lasting effects of this flash are typically not permanent, any direct flash will result in temporary blindness for a varying amount of time.
何が起きてるクソくらえまだ欲しいかあこの野郎ふざけるな死ね気に入ったかこの野郎何なんだよ
Many observations note how this flash is even used on apex predators as large as Rathian and Legiana,
Whoa.
with the zizi-yaku fleeing the area whilst they are blinded. Fortunately for us, this flash is more commonly used as a defensive measure against people, frequently retreating from those who are blinded. But they will use it, of course, when hunting or ambushing their preferred prey, specifically preferring to flash species of winged drakes such as Ruffinos, Mernos, and even snake wyverns like Remobra. When a target has been blinded, the zizi-yaku will then maul the vulnerable creature via slashing and kicking with its strong legs. The legs of a zizi-yaku, like many species of bird wyvern, are incredibly strong, capable of aiding them in jumping far distances in the mountainous terrain of their native home. Kicks delivered by zizi-yaku are capable of breaking bones and in some rare instances were powerful enough to cause. Like many bird wyverns, zizi-yaku are known for collecting items and objects that catch their curiosity.
Yep.
In their
like
native home, these objects would include the large reflective shells of oysters. But in other areas they may collect man-made items such as metal, mirrors, and anything else reflective. This collection is not only for display, but is also useful to the ZZ Yaku for defending nests and other areas of interest. As the ZZ Yaku will use these reflective items to both enhance and duplicate its flash, resulting in continuous flashes of light that can heavily disorientate anything that dares to enter a ZZ Yaku's nest. Some ZZ Yaku have even begun to regularly visit cities and towns when foraging, using windows and other man-made items within them to enhance their flashes against hunters and other guild members. The distinct signs of a ZZ Yaku include the following: claw marks on terrain, small animal corpses, and disoriented animals. To avoid accidents, please listen to the following directions in case you encounter a ZZ Yaku.
General precautions to take. If you live in an area with reported ZZ Yaku activity, it is important to avoid carrying any shiny or reflective objects exposed. Hide any such items if you can in pockets or backpacks. Keep pets secure and close at all times, and secure all garbage and food in containers. Ensure to make lots of noise when traveling in their territory, as to prevent startling a ZZ Yaku, and to ensure that a ZZ Yaku can avoid you. If you encounter a ZZ Yaku, seek shelter as soon as possible, or place an obstruction between you and the ZZ Yaku. You should make yourself appear larger whilst backing away, and avoid making any sudden or quick movements when in sight. Protect your eyes during the encounter with a large object to reduce the chance of being blinded by a ZZ's flash. Note that turning away from the flash does not work. Watch for visual signs that a ZZ is about to flash you, as the photophore on their heads will quickly flare 2 times before unleashing the blinding flash.
The next species we will cover is... The last species is the Ragi. Ragi are a relatively common species of bird wyvern to encounter, and are another species of poisonous bird wyvern. At a height of 1.5 meters, Ragi can be identified by their orange scales, bumpy skin, and large poison sacs. Although they prefer to live in humid environments, ever since humanity's expansion, they can frequently be found in other forested areas when searching for new territory. As omnivores, Ragi are known to eat poisonous plants, mushrooms, insects, and occasionally larger prey like slagtoth when in big enough groups, with pack sizes ranging between 2 to 7 members on average. And due to their relatively small size, they will also see people as potential prey.
Oh, he's fucked! That was one page on King Kong's physical game to movie audio!
Especially in more recent times as the number of reported encounters increases. A trait many will first notice is how Ragi possess a poison sac located on their necks. This organ is a Ragi's primary weapon for hunting and defending, being able to be expelled through a poisonous mist from the mouth, and can also be spit as a ball at targets. The effects of this mist fortunately will not linger for very long, and will disperse after a short period, and is not typically fatal to victims unless they are continuously exposed to the toxins, since this poison will primarily weaken prey in order for the Ragi to attack together in their packs. As pack animals, Ragi are more efficient working with their pack, being known to cover entire areas and prey with their poison, which makes them especially dangerous in the few instances where Ragi nest in towns or other man-made structures. The dominant male of the pack, the great Ragi, are much more poisonous than their subordinates. These males can easily be distinguished by their greater size, more complex patterns, bulky bodies, and their larger poison sac. With a height of 3 meters, they use their greater size to take down prey as big as themselves. Their poison is also significantly more dangerous than a smaller Ragi's poison, with their toxins being potent enough to kill a full-grown male slagtoth within seconds. Due to this significant shift in its potency, there are very slim chances that poison prey will escape, and as social creatures these males will actively lead their pack, aiding in the foraging for food and defending them from larger monsters. A great Ragi's hide is far tougher than his underlings, which in many cases protects them when being attacked by creatures of similar size. And with their complex hunting strategies and true pack loyalty, Ragi prove themselves to be quite formidable as bird wyverns. The distinct signs of a Ragi include the following: consumed poisonous plants, misfired spit, and poison residue. To avoid accidents, please listen to the following directions in case you encounter a Ragi.
General precautions to take. Travel in groups of a minimum of 4 when in areas known to have Rogi to discourage them from attacking, as Rogi prefer to travel in packs at all times. Keep pets secure and indoors at all times, and seal all garbage and food. Motion-activated lights and/or electric fencing are incredibly efficient deterrents against Rogi packs, with loudspeakers mimicking larger monster calls being effective deterrents on a great Rogi. If you encounter a Rogi, note that your best course of action is to seek shelter as soon as possible upon encountering
So
any
hide.
Rogi, preferably within tight, sturdy, or tall structures. Protect your eyes, nose, and mouth during the encounter, as to reduce the chance of a fatal attack from any poisonous spit. Making use of heat-emitting tools, such as fire, can greatly intimidate a and may end an encounter entirely if used strategically. If a pack of Rogi continues to pursue you, do not attempt to outrun them. Instead, you should back away at a constant pace. Always assume that a great Rogi is in the area, as Rogi will typically have a scout party and a main party when foraging for
Okay. So, always assume there's a great Rogi, even though you will see the smaller Rogi. Oh, fuck!
Bird wyverns are such a wondrous and unique group of monsters. With a wide variety of fruity-colored species that all have unique adaptations to survive not only the natural world, but the man-made world as well. As of the creation of this guide, plenty of more species will likely have begun migrating. Much like the populations as they migrate to faraway lands. The next type of monsters we will discuss are Piscine wyverns. Please insert the
Okay. Hello. Oh, what is happening? That was Monster Hunter Now Sesame Dream, the introduction of the bird wyverns. So there's a lot of hints there that something's really going on, as they cut up a 6th monster and don't want the public to know about it, and cut up to the Waggies. And there's been little hints of something going on down. But that was a great episode for Monster Hunter Now by TeaCommon Studios. Or TeaCommon Animation. I totally forgot the name. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!